Assalamu alaikum everyone. Before I start, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this hat. Well, actually took off my hat like I usually do before I film, but when I took it off, my hair was really messy and I tried brushing it back, but it still did not look good, so I'm gonna be wearing this hat throughout the filming, inshallah. Alright, so in this video, I want to talk to you about the description of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we know that we know by descriptions and ahadith from the companions that he was a very handsome, good-looking man. So we have a complete narration of what the Prophet ﷺ looked like, and this is a very long narration by a old woman by the name of Ma'bad. She said, describing the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I saw a man who is clearly handsome with a beautiful face. He is well built. He is neither blemished by a big stomach, nor did he have an unusually small head. The pupils of his eyes are very dark. The edges of his eyelids are so long, and the area around the pupils of his eyes is so white. His eyebrows are perfectly close. He has very dark hair, a rather long neck, and a thick beard. When he keeps silent, he is always contemplative, and when he speaks, eminence and splendor shows in his words. His words are like sliding stringed pearls. He is a gifted speaker whose words are neither too few nor too much. He has the clearest words and the most audible voice when he speaks. When you look at him from afar, he is the most handsome of all people. And when you move closer to him, he's the most pleasant of them. You will never be tired of looking at him. He's like a branch between two branches. He is the most handsome of the three. She means Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr, and Amr ibn Fuhayra. And the most important of them, he has companions who honor him. When he speaks, they listen to his words, and when he commands, they hasten to carry out his order. They serve him and rally around him, and he does not frown or nag. So that was a big description. And we can excuse her because she was an older woman, so we can excuse her on that part. And, we get a good description of not only his physical description, but his his character. We get a description of not just his physical description, but his character and conduct. Excuse me. And if you think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows the nature of man and who man will follow. You think that man will follow someone who is disproportionate and who is not very attractive in the way he speaks and the way he acts and the way he looks? Most likely not. But if you saw someone with fair height, fair characteristics, you would be more inclined to that person because of the way they look. And if they had good talking skills and the way they acted were good, you would be more inclined to follow that person than to follow someone who is not disproportionate. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why He created all the prophets and messengers to be attractive in the physical sense and in their character. So another hadith reported by Tirmidhi, who said this is a Sahih Hasan hadith. Ali radiallahu anh, he said, describing the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was neither tall nor too short. He was neither tall nor too short. He had large hands and feet. He had a large head and was big boned, and the thin line of hair starting from his chest and extending to the navel was long. When he walked, he would lean forward as if he was walking downhill. I have never seen anyone like him before or since. And also in Tirmidhi, in his book, The Virtues and Noble Character of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's a hadith narrated on the authority of Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anh. Jabir radiallahu anh, he narrates, I once saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the night of the full moon. Now we all know that I'm sure most of us have seen the full moon. It's very beautiful, and we see the light radiating from the moon and the way the moon looks. It's very beautiful. I'm sure, subhanAllah, we've all seen the moon before in our lives. So anyway, on that night he wore red clothing. At times I looked at the full moon, and at times I looked at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ultimately, I came to the conclusion that Rasulullah ﷺ was more handsome, beautiful, and more radiant than the full moon. Now imagine we see the full moon and it's very radiant, very beautiful, and we love looking at the moon. And he's saying, Jabir radiallahu anh, he's saying Rasulullah ﷺ is way more beautiful than that full moon. And if the illumination, he continues, Jabir radiallahu anh, he continues, if the illumination in the temple and sanctuary is through the sun and moon, so what? I desire you, what should I do with my sight? Meaning like whatever I do with my sight. So we can see how beautiful Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our prophet, our messenger, the final one, the best of the creation, how beautiful he was in the physical sense. And we have seen in his, excuse me, in his character too, we've seen in some of these, in these narrations. And with this, I close. I hope you all have benefited from this video. And if you could, please share this with your friends and your family, so this way they may benefit as well. And inshallah ta'ala, until I see you all next time, I leave you all in peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.